Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea only on Win Media 98.9.
Morning, good morning. How are we doing this morning? To the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, good morning. To the regional and international diaspora, good morning. Good morning to Quint. Good morning to everyone in the sound of my voice. Welcome to today's edition of Island Tea. It is the ultimate or the last day of April 2025. To those of you celebrating, a happy birthday on behalf of us here at Win FM. Do celebrate, enjoy, but remember to be safe. The numbers you can contact us on 0333 440065. That's for the UK. The US 718-285-6984 or 305-921-4619. Our local number 662-0989 or 466-0989. Just to remind you, we are simulcast on TVC Channel 40, Facebook, as well as YouTube. We're working on getting our radio mechanisms up, so hopefully that happens quite soon. But thank you for your patience with us, and thank you for joining us this morning. Quint, how are we doing?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
I am trying my best to be my best as usual, and I see that Trinidad has changed the change, as we would say around here locally.
Mohan will say.
Oh yes, it's all yellow. You know, as a song, it's all yellow. Yeah. So
good song too, beautiful song.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
So yeah, Trinidad has spoken. They have decided this is what we want, and I think I was looking at a comparison. Let me change that wordage of the previous. What do we call them? Campaigns. Yes, the previous campaigns for the Red Party.
Yeah.
And the previous campaign for the Yellow Party, and the aerial shot shows that this year's campaign, I don't know what's happening for the Red Party, but the Yellow Party looked like the Red Party looked at the last campaign.
You mean by way of the turnout?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the aerial shot show, they compare the years to when they look like each other.
Okay.
And it's funny that when people want what they want,
when people want what they want, yes.
they do what they need to do to ensure that it is delivered. So we have Miss Bessessar back in leadership.
Back in.
Yep.
What's the name of her party?
I think it's, I'm not sure, and I want to think it's PNM, but I don't want to say that. So let me check. Let me check. But I think it's PNM. Let me see. Okay. Come on, hold up. I have it right. Yeah, I'm correct. People's National Movement.
Okay.
Wait, no. Wait, no. I'm wrong. Jesus, they're going to get me. It's UNC.
UNC.
It's UNC. PNM is the ousted party.
I didn't know. I mean,
because I don't follow it neither. Because it's government in, government out, government in, government out. So PNM is the ousted one, and UNC is United National Congress. Kamala Persad-Bessessar. Yep. So she's back in. What? At 73, she looks excellent.
Okay.
Wow. I often wonder why though. I know we've seen a rise in younger leaders in our OECS region, but why do people want to lead at these ages where they should be relaxing?
I don't
just
know.
Enjoying retirement. What is it about leadership that drives people to want to lead when they're in their 70s?
I don't know. I couldn't begin to give you an answer for
like
that.
the young lady in Namibia. I think she's 72.
Yes.
What are we doing? No, this is time to relax and, go on your cruises. Don't wait until you get on your, what is it called? Your
Well, the young lady, I mean, the young...
Yeah, they look good for their age.
The lady in Namibia, I could understand why she would still be into politics, because her history goes way back to the Mandela struggle and, Mandela's party struggle and those years. So I think she just kept to it to the point where she's now in leadership. That is what I put forward.
Because we know it took quite a while to get there, because we know how it is, how before women were not allowed to lead, be in charge and all of that. But in your 70s, man.
She is the first
Yeah, the first
yeah,
female.
female
So
in-
she has
in-
broken the glass ceiling in
yeah.
Namibia.
So I think we should kind of exempt her. Yeah.
No, I think my good young lady friend should be chilling out on a beach somewhere.
No.
She already served, as you said, politically throughout all those other years.
No, she served as a freedom fighter. She worked her way up to the party and so forth.
She was deputy before she was, as you would know,
Yeah.
before she was
But
now
I
president.
think that this is just my feeling that she always had it in her that she wanted to be forefront in the party, and age didn't matter to her.
Okay. Boy, no.
So I would say that she's a bit of an exception.
Because look at Mr. Biden in the time that he should be relaxing as well. Look at Mr. Now.
Yeah.
Old. Like, what are y'all
Trump.
doing there? Just go relax.
Well, Trump had something to prove. It's like from the time Obama became president, and after Obama roasted him, you remember Obama roasted him at some kind of the presidential, when before the president is inaugurated or whatever, they have a dinner, banquet or whatever, and Trump was in there. You should go back and see that. Obama roasted him quite nicely, and everyone around was laughing, and the people who were closer to Trump were trying not to laugh, so they turned their faces and put their hands over their mouths and had a good laugh. And Trump was sitting down, and you could see it was almost like you could see him turn red, right? And a lot of people say that is what motivated him to run for president. Like, okay, because remember he had the Bertha thing, and then Obama roasted him on so many fronts. And I think one of the things that Obama said was, you could never aspire to be president or something like that.
Yeah,
And he was in there, and he said, okay, I'll show you. And so he had his faction behind him. So the what they called him again, the people who his base.
You mean, okay,
The-
like how we have campaign managers and campaign personnel. You mean he had
No.
those persons there with him?
They have it on MAGA or whatever. Yeah, those that is his main base. MAGA is the name of it.
Yeah,
I
MAGA,
think.
you're
Yeah,
correct. Yeah.
yeah. So he had
Making America Great Again.
they were behind him, and it seems now is the time that a lot of them are falling away from him. But during his first campaign and in his second campaign, yeah, the MAGA were firmly behind Trump.
You know what people said too? They said, because yesterday was his first 100 days in office, right?
Yeah.
And there was a lot of comparison because his polls have dropped, etc., etc. He's complaining, he's whining, he's crying. But they also noted yesterday while I was looking at The View that in his last administration, Quint, and I'm sure you would have been familiar with this, he had competent people. People who opposed what he said, a lot of people that resigned,
Yes,
and we saw
yes,
that. But they
yes.
said this time he picked a bunch of buffoons because they're just going to be loyal to him. And no matter what happens,
Yeah.
he's
He has
not
his
going to do
own
them
way.
anything. And they made reference to Mr. Heskett.
Yeah.
They said, look, he shared a second signal chat again. Nothing happened to him. But when whatever mistake Hillary made, it was a big thing. She
Yeah.
should be this, she should be that. But yet he just gets a pat on the wrist like, don't do that again.
Yeah.
Let's move it along.
Well, his first 100 days seemed like 4 years.
I tell
already.
you, that's what they said. It seems like 100 years instead of 4. Well,
We have a
100 days,
caller.
sorry. Caller, good morning. You're live on Island T.
Good morning to everybody and greetings once more in Jesus' name, the only Savior of sinners, from the saints and from hell, and the second person of the eternal Trinity. Now, first of all, I would like to say that, and I will continue to say it until God decide otherwise, that St. Kitts and Nevis need to become a republic. We need to continue to push that republic movement for us in this federation to become a republic. That would give us a true, well, to a certain degree, a true look of independence. That's the first thing. The second thing is that with yesterday, I should say last night actually, I was looking at Everton Obi Powell Facebook page. And he had a clip of the lady who won the elections in Trinidad and Tobago. And in the clip, short clip, she was saying that, hey, I'm going to allow you, the people, to legally own firearms so that y'all could defend yourself in your houses. And, you know, a few people were praising her for saying that on his comment, in his comment section. Few people was, well, all who commented was positive about that, of what she said. And I said to myself, but wait a while. I have been saying this. I've been saying a similar thing. I would have worded it somewhat differently, but basically, the gist of it is that, the substance of it is that I have over the years, since the Douglas government, been saying this thing, and that the Bible does not give the government the right to disarm people. We have that right to arm ourselves for our protection, self-defense, you name it. And I've been called crazy and all sort of stuff for that. But here now, this lady, basically, almost saying the same thing, and people praising her. And I said to myself, you know what? A prophet have no honor among his people. But a prophet have no honor among his people. And so, but I said, you know what? Irrespective of the hypocrisy that a prophet have no honor among his people, what she said still is better than how it was before, and even better than even how it is in St. Kitts and Nevis. At least that is a small step in the right direction if she does that. But nevertheless, I still say it does not take away from the fact that when women are in these leadership positions in government and so on, it is God's way of showing us, hey, your nation is under my judgment and curse, because you all as a nation are disobeying the word of God. But sometime in God's grace and judgment, temper his judgment a little bit for a little while. Sometimes, even though he may put up a woman in government, he might still have her to do certain things that goes in the right direction.
So let me ask a question. So you don't believe
yes.
that women should lead a country like that?
Well, the Bible in Isaiah chapter 3 shows that when women and children have these positions, it is God mocking you as a nation and showing you that his sign and judgment, his judgment is on you, because when God in Exodus chapter 18 verse 21 says, tell the people how to choose the leaders, he tells them that there should be men who fear God. And he used in the Hebrew term the Hebrew word for male. It should be male who first fear God, hate bribes, and those sort of stuff. And in the church as well, when God tell them to choose the leaders in the church, the deacons and the elders in the church, God made it also very clear as well that it should be men. It should be men who are true godly men. And the same thing with the family as well, that the husband is the head of the home and the woman are to submit to him in everything.
Why is it that you have a tendency to say something and then in the next vein kind of contradict it? You said if a woman leads, then it's God's mocking or cursing. But you also said that when a woman leads, that it could be God is using her for something. So I don't understand.
Yeah, because the Bible shows us more than once, even in the midst of judgment, sometimes God shows a little bit of mercy still. Even in the midst of his judgment. And remember, God is a miracle working God, Quint?
You never cease
God
to,
is a miracle working God.
You never cease to amaze me. You never cease. And it seems to me when you started out on that vein, I sort of internally I said to myself, here Greg goes again. He's gonna get the ladies on all riled up. You see, you seem to don't pass up on a chance to irritate, aggravate the ladies.
Well, again, the feminism that we have going around the world with is doing more destruction and harm than anything else. You see, the Bible is not a politically correct book. Despite, for example, Miss Henry and others who would like to make it to be, the Bible is not a politically correct book. The Bible teaches things that are very much contrary to what is going on in the world today, including contrary to feminism. But like I said, even when God is judging a nation, some of the time he even have little periods of time when he shows a certain degree of mercy still, even in his judgment. You know, but if you continue in your sin, he will remove even that little bit of judgment, that little bit of grace and mercy, and totally destroy you.
When you say feminism, be a little bit more specific, because I don't know if I'm agreeing with you, because part of your statement I agree with. There's too much feminism being practiced around the world to the extent and what I mean by that is a lot of our boys are being feminized by their mothers and society. So on that ground, to that extent, I agree with you. So is that what you're meaning, or are you speaking?
Well, that is part of it. That is just a part of it. Yeah. I would agree with you with that.
Yes.
That's a part of it. But it even goes more, because the Bible says that, hey, the man is the head of the husband. The man is the head of the home, and the woman ought to be submissive unto him in everything. Obviously, not in sin, obviously, but once the man isn't telling her something that to do something that is sinful or contrary to the Bible says the woman or the wife is to be submissive unto the man in everything.
Okay,
feminism to them said no.
So let me give you a scenario. There's a husband and a wife, and the husband tends to make bad decisions, but the wife tends to make good decisions. So you're saying even in that case, the wife should not be able to say to her husband, "Huzzy, you're prone to bad decisions. So I think maybe you should listen to me and follow my advice." You're saying that even in that case, where it could wind up being a disaster or going wrong, she should not take that leadership role or give leadership advice?
Once the husband is not demanding of her to do something that is contrary to the word of God, she needs, and that will not bring destruction in the family, because the husband is acting contrary to the word of God, then what the wife ought to do biblically, continually be in prayer for her husband and family, continue to show her godly attitude to her husband and family, leave the matter there.
But Greg, that is nonsense. So you're saying the husband tends to make bad decisions, financially and otherwise, but she should just pray. She should just continue. These are the things that kind of irritate me with this Christian concept. So you're just going to pray. The Bible says the Creator helps those who help themselves. So you're going to pray. You pray to the Creator once. He makes another mistake. You pray to the Creator twice. He makes another. So you're going to pray indefinitely. She's supposed to pray indefinitely and don't speak out and say, "Well, Huzzy, you're making wrong decisions." I for the past 2 years, the decisions that you have made and the decision I have advised you to make, Your
Again,
decisions have been wrong and mine have been right. So, honey, I think you should start to listen to me. And if I was that man, I wouldn't be making those mistakes all the time. From the time I realize that
yes.
I'm making mistakes and I have a wife who could advise me to the positive, I'm going to say, baby, look, maybe I'm faltering here, so you take the lead on this. And the things that I'm strong on, well, I lead on that. But you're saying she should just pray.
Okay, Quint. Like I told you, the God of the Bible, which is the only true living God, is a miracle working God. He worked miracles. That's why the other day I told you, the Bible came together under His miraculous, and man did not organize it. God of the Bible is a miracle working God. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what was Peter's advice to God, to the godly woman? Peter's advice to the godly woman was, even if you are living with a husband who is not obedient to the word, which means is destructive to the family, going to make decisions that are destructive to the family. What Paul said to those godly women, hey, keep quiet and be submissive to your husband, and take matters in prayer, live a godly life, because you live in a godly life to your husband, you may end up winning him over to the Christian faith. Peter did not tell the godly woman in that time, hey, because your husband are disobedient to the word and therefore you're going to be making decisions that are not good for the family, because that is what disobedience to the word is. That you should somehow usurp his authority or pressure him to do things that are according to the word of God, which is good for the family. That ain't what Peter advised the godly woman to do. Peter advised the godly woman, hey, your husband, even if they're disobedient to the word still, be quiet, live a godly life so that you may win him over to the Christian faith, and of course be in prayer and so on for him. Because the man is still the head of the home, even though he's not a Christian and making ungodly decisions which are destructive for the family in the end. What you want to do, you want to win him over to the Christian faith so that he will start to make good decisions. And that is why the Bible also advises women, become Christians and do not marry unchristian men, because in the end, you're going to pay a price if you marry unchristian men, because Christian men who are true Christians would truly love their wives.
Excuse me, I was on the phone a bit, speaking a bit of technical stuff. But Greg, your teachings are sometimes, with all due respect, sometimes you're very positive and wise in certain things, but your biblical teachings a lot of the times, in my opinion, are just absolute, not even controversial, absolute nonsense as far as I'm concerned. Because you're saying, that's what you just said, that even if the husband's movements and actions are destructive to the family, you're saying Paul told the women to be quiet.
No, Paul, Peter.
Peter, whomever told the women to be quiet. But the word you use is destructive. The man is destructive to the family.
Yes.
So tell me in what modern day society and any rational thinking individual should adhere to that kind of foolish advice. Those kind of advice cannot be coming from a creator, from a Godhead. Those kind of decisions have to be coming from a stubborn, foolish, ignorant man. A man who is not only foolish, but he's narcissistic. He is so narcissistic that even when he's wrong, he wants to be told that he's right.
Like I said, okay, let me say this. Only the Bible is irrational.
Hortensia, why is it that you're always
the Bible
you're
is
so
rational
silent?
and logical. Yeah, only the Bible is rational. You see, in your equation, you do not allow for a God of miracles.
But
your equation is wrong on many fronts.
So you're saying miracles include nonsense and stupidity.
Miracles will straighten out things the Bible went. Which is the only sensible and proper way.
But Greg, I'm going to quote you
Greg,
again.
we're living in a world that Jesus looks over us, but he's not in control of the world, and you know this too.
No. I always contradict you with that, because in Romans chapter 11, verse 36, it says, Everything is by God, to God, and from God. Everything.
But I
There is
never
no
said it wasn't
exception.
from him. I just said he's not in control right now. He just makes sure
No,
he's looking
wait, that would
over
run
for his
contrary.
children. If
No,
God was
that
in
would run
control, we wouldn't have
contrary.
been in all this predicament, Greg.
No, God is putting us in this predicament because of our disobedience to His word. Contrary to what
He's
you're
not
saying,
putting us
God
in
is putting us in this
anything.
predicament. It's part of His judgment.
My
I-
God is not like that.
I
No.
believe
It is part
I
of His
believe-
judgment, but the God of the Bible is like that.
I believe the Creator is always in control, but man and woman or humanity.
But you got more Christian belief than cartels, yeah?
But
No,
listen,
I
let
said-
me bear out what I'm saying. I
Go ahead,
believe the
Quinn.
Creator is always in control, but
Amen.
men and women, in our ignorance and pompous pride, we go contrary to what the Creator wants, and the Creator just lets, okay, that's the way you're gonna go. Bear the punishment
As
for
I
for
said,
the decisions you
I
make.
honestly believe my God is not in control of this world at this point. He has not left
Yes,
his
your
children
God,
alone.
but the God of the Bible is different.
Well, I believe in the same God of the Bible, Greg. You're not going to tell me which
No,
God
you
I
don't.
believe in.
You don't, because the Bible is in
if God was in control of this, we would have never been in this kind of nonsense here.
No, He put
He's
us
not
in
leaving.
this position.
No.
He put us in this position because of our disobedience to His word, and He promised that He will do that.
Okay, so why when the devil went for Job, he didn't allow the devil to take Job's life, but he just allowed him to tempt him to see if he was truly for him? He was still looking out for his job. He didn't leave his job to his own devices.
Yeah, but the
And that's the same way I feel.
But the Creator was in control,
never could
Hortensia,
touch Job
because
unless God
because
permitted
he said the Creator was in control because he gave the devil, if you go by the Bible's
Yeah,
thing,
he gave him the
de-
little leeway,
yeah,
but he was
the
still
leeway.
looking over his child. That's what I'm saying. But he-
Caller, go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, man. Good morning to you guys.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, no offense to the other guy on the other. He's still on the other line, right?
Yes. So before you go ahead,
Yeah.
do you agree that you're a man? Do you agree that you're in a relationship with a woman? Your woman realized that you that
I could change my answer right away and protect you. No.
okay.
go ahead.
Okay, you've answered it because you've been listening.
Yep.
No, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
To you, Quinn, to you.
Wow.
Because you don't believe in a miracle working God.
Miracles should not include
let me-
stupidity. Go ahead,
Go
caller.
ahead, bro.
Let me say thanks to him for letting me talk the other day. Sorry for ranting and taking that time up the other day when he let me talk. Yeah. So attention, man. I was waiting for you. I was waiting to hear you, man.
No.
You don't want you to start kicking.
no,
you don't want
because
you to
you
start kicking
see-
back at him, right?
No, this is why I don't argue religion, because it gets us nowhere. Because I don't think the God that I know and the God of the Bible would allow us to be in such turmoil. After over and over, He showed
Yeah,
us where He saved us out of a lot of stuff. So I
Okay,
just feel
so-
He's looking over, but He's not in control. He's just tell the devil, you do your thing, and my people that want to follow me, they're gonna follow me, and I'm still gonna cover as much because I
Okay,
intend people.
so that you just put forward, I could agree with that, Hortensia. That makes sense because it's the same like with the Job situation. Because here you now say he has given control to the evil force.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I could because
He's not in
that could
control.
happen.
So then what do you all do with Romans 11 verse 36?
I'm not going to try to quote scriptures. I'm just going to go by from my perspective.
That's the problem.
Because I'm not a Christian person and because I don't try to understand every aspect of the Bible, what I do is I listen to what you or any other Christian would say, and I try to rationalize it to my comprehension, to my ability to
But
understand.
you're doing stuff from out of a sinful
and-
heart, Quint. You're doing that from
But
out of
Okay,
a
Greg,
sinful
could we
fallen
let
heart.
Burl come in now, and then we could continue afterwards, please?
Yeah.
By the way, before you go, your website, your web page, WinFM,
Yes.
it's the media is not playing. The media is down.
You mean the audio?
Well, the media player is down on your station web page. No, I'm getting you on YouTube. I guess maybe you might be on Facebook. I
Facebook,
don't know if
yeah.
you're on Facebook, but I'm getting
Because
you on YouTube. But
I'm seeing that
Your webpage.
we're on Facebook and so on and so. Well, I'll
You
call.
but your web page, your main web page is
I'll
down.
call.
The player is down.
Thanks for that information. I'm gonna call the individual who deals with that and let him look into it. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Burl, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Contessa, I want you to join me. I want to join in with congratulating the new elected leader down there in Trinidad. What's the name, Contessa?
Kamala Prasad Basasir.
Basasir.
Basasir, Basasir.
Yeah,
Everybody has a
congratulations to
different
her.
pronunciation, yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations to her. And you know, there was a woman elected leader of Anguilla recently this year.
Yeah,
so far.
Miss Cora Richardson.
Yeah, so you know, yeah, big up to the women and them who's stepping up and making their contribution, and you know,
Well,
big up to the
well,
women them in St.
You may say big up to the women.
Hard.
Burl, you may say big up to the women, but
Yeah.
Greg is saying that all of those women who are voted in as leaders, they are cursed. The God is cursing us by putting women in those positions.
Wait, ain't just women too, the
Yeah,
Angolan
well-
men too.
Yeah, so go ahead, Burl.
Yeah, well, let me extend and say big up to the women in the federation who is, you know, working hard every day. The single mothers, the ones who are teachers and nurses and stuff like that, who's contributing towards society. It's not an easy road, you know, being a single mother especially. And we've seen a lot of success stories of individuals that were raised by single mothers. And, you know, I know one particular lady there in the Federation. I just want to big her up. She knows who she is. And I want to tell her keep doing what she's doing. And, you know, success is underway. And, you know, I just want to see the best for St. Kitts and Nevis going forward, man. A lot of issues is, you know, plaguing the Federation. A lot of chatter, a lot of debate back and forth. And, you know, we can't lose sight of a lot of the positive stuff that we need to stay on. You know, I made a trip over to Africa 3 years ago. And one thing that I took from that trip, you know, the people I'm there, they seem so much more positive. You know, here in the west side of the world, we're so negative. We criticize a lot. We try to bring each other down, you know. And what I'm seeing in St. Kitts and Nevis currently, well, actually, it's happening in the world, worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
Evil seems like it's reigning over good.
Mm-hmm.
The whole world is turned upside down right about now. And whether the Christian people want to come forward and speak in that regard, that's on them. But we see might is right, and we see evil seems like it's overtaking good.
Mm-hmm.
And we need more love in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Just bring this home locally. We need more love. We need to treat each other with more love and respect. And we need to respect each other's views and opinions so we can grow as a society. Progress, in order for progress to come, change must happen. And our leaders have to be mindful of that and put country above self. And to the youth them that's coming up, they're looking at us as examples, and the moral part, the way how we were raised by our parents, you know, it seems like we are straying away from that. Our more values are deteriorating.
And
we
this
need to
is
get back to that
this is
somehow.
where, Burl, this is where I
Yes.
tend to agree strongly with Greg when it comes to leadership in the home. Too many. I think that over time, somehow women have been brainwashed into thinking that being a single parent is the best thing. You know,
I don't think so.
True.
because
true.
because
No,
because
no,
because
Greg, I'm not gonna
hearing
agree with you that. I
not,
don't
not
think
Greg,
so.
Quint, me now.
No,
I'm saying
Greg
that.
just answered. So I'm answering Greg.
I'm hearing a lot of women. I'm hearing a lot of women, and they're touting, "I'm a single parent," and they say it like, I'm not saying that you should not be proud of being a single parent, but this is what they also do, because we live in a society where a lot of women are angry with men because they of a past relationship. I'm not saying all of them, Some of them are quite angry. Hortensia, pick
Prince,
up
that's
so
a
I can
great point you
answer
brought
this
up.
phone.
But why do you think they're angry?
Hello?
Why do you think they're
From their
angry?
experiences.
Yeah, but I think
The
they tout
experiences.
it proudly because they are proud of what they have accomplished by themselves with no help from the dad sometimes. And I know people
Feminism.
going to say, oh, these women cause this on themselves, whatever, whatever. But the dads don't want to stay
Feminism.
around. The dads do not
Feminism.
want to.
But Hortensia, remember, I'm a male now, so I'm gonna defend the male them too.
I know.
So
I'm outnumbered
yeah,
here.
the,
Three
the
against
women them
one.
doing their part. The women,
Let me say, we don't come
the
next
women.
to
Well, now I'm bringing the balance back to you now. The women them are doing their thing, but a woman can't teach her son how to be a man.
Exactly, but the dad's
And
not staying
that's the
around to do
balance
it.
that a man brings. That's the balance. Okay, but what I'm saying is, we still have to we have to be mindful of that balance, though. The male figure in the home, he is all mostly seems to be like the disciplinarian, and that little boy in the home, he needs a male figure. He needs a male figure to mold him. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to take nothing away from a woman, yeah, but a woman can't go overboard where they will try to diminish the man contribution or take that contribution away from him, because of the fact that they think that they can do it on their own. They have to allow that man to come in and bring that balance. You know what I'm saying? The
'Cause
discipline in the home is necessary. And in most cases, the male figure is who's going to show that dominant example in the home for the kids, especially
And
the
I agree
male,
with
the
that.
male
I
child.
agree with that.
And that's, yeah. But overall, I won't take nothing away from the women that's doing their thing. I applaud them in the same light as well. But they got to be mindful that we need that balance still. That's all I would say concerning that.
But
We need that
let
balance,
me
and the
also say
male
this.
figure is needed. That's what is needed.
Let me also say this. No, somebody gonna come and say, well, I know women who brought up men and girls, brought them up to be, and today they're teachers, doctors, lawyers, you name that. Which in an officer doesn't necessarily mean that that's a good thing, because you have a lot of those people who do a lot of wickedness and breaking the law, just that they're better able to escape the law. But nevertheless, there are people somebody's going to come and say, I know women and the train grow up to be this and grow up to be that. No, that is quite true. I know of it well. I know of single mothers who children end up becoming doctors, lawyers, and that sort of stuff. A lot of them wicked too, but nevertheless. But what I want to say is that even though that is
Yeah,
the
very
case,
Yes,
even though that is the case,
let me apologize for that abrupt, but I was dealing with some technical matters. So let me finish my point. What I was saying, I am not going to knock single women. The problem I have is there are some, not all, there are some single women, and I have experienced that myself. There are some single women or some women, after they break up with you, they don't want you to interact with your child. Okay? I had that instance with my youngest
Great
daughter.
point.
With my youngest daughter.
And I don't agree with that either, because as I said, when I look and see kids getting abused because the mom have a new boyfriend, give the child to the father and you run wild if you want to do that. Don't punish the child.
It's things like those, and sometimes too. Again, not all women or not all single women, but there are some, because there's always a good and the bad. There's some who say only bad things in front of their sons about their fathers. Oh, your father is a dog. Your father is a this. You're just like your father. You ain't gonna walk out to nothing. You understand? Come on, man. And a lot of the young men,
How about you look just like him.
yeah, you look just like him, you act just like him. Okay, and a lot of the young men, this is what is happening in society today.
I agree with some of it.
A lot of the young men are seeing, but I think this is where a lot of us men are to blame here now. A lot of the young men when they look around in society, they see women doing things. They see young women excelling in scholastics, excelling in athletics, excelling in whatever a woman wants to be, she wants to be. And for some reason, a lot of these young men, but again, it's a dual problem. It's on the mother and the father's part. The fathers, you need to be there. Let me tell you, when I have kids by two mothers. Whenever my kids' mothers give me problem and I couldn't see my children when they were growing up, I see them in the schools. You understand? So much so that whenever I went to the school, the principal, the teachers, everybody knew me. As a matter of fact, I'm the one who went to the school and not the mothers. You understand? So fathers, you've got to be there. If you and the mother can't get along, that has nothing to do with your child. Go and represent. Your sons need to see you. Your daughters too, because my daughter, my youngest daughter, she complained to the, what they call those, guidance counselor. She complained to the guidance counselor that her mom doesn't want her to see her dad and she needs to interact with her dad. So the guidance counselor called me, and you understand? So fathers, you got to be there for your children. And mothers, you got to, whatever you feel, you have to let the fathers be a part of their children's lives. And especially the sons, because the sons are just left to go wild. The mothers are making sure to pull the daughters under their wings and letting the sons go wild. And sons need guidance too. So that's my piece.
Yeah, so
Thank you, Quinn.
Thank
you.
Yeah,
Thank you, Quinn, man. Hip hip hooray for that. Cheers, man.
Yeah, but what I'm going to say, Quint, what I'm going to say is that children need both mother and father in the home.
That is why
even if this is not biological father, because maybe he might have died or something like that.
Yes.
They still need so boys and girls. So boys and girls, yes, but due to feminism today, this thing called feminism, they're misleading women and telling women that you do not need a man in the home.
Yes.
No, even if you bring up your children to be doctors and that sort of stuff, even if you do that, judges and that sort of stuff, if they and I will stress a godly man, if they do not have a godly man in their life, they still miss something that is important. Likewise, vice versa. If a man have children rearing, a godly man have children rearing up in his home, he too need to give them that balance once he is able and in the position to do it.
Yes.
To have a godly woman to complement him in the home as well, in bringing up children. Because if he don't, even if they come up to be lawyers and whatever, they still miss that godly female presence in their life, and they lack that. So you need both godly men and godly women in their life. And let me say this, Quint, and it's going to make a lot of people work. But I do not care how much you bring up your child to be a judge, engineer, or doctor, or whatever. Fear, admonition, and discipline of the Lord as Christian parents, you have failed your child.
Well, that's your opinion. I don't concur. I don't agree. Because I've never been a Christian parent, but I don't think I
based on the Bible.
When I look at my children, 5 of them, I feel proud. I'm not perfect, but I think I did the best with what I had. But I'm going to make a statement now that's going to make a lot of people mad. I don't care how much you try to say that a woman should be with a woman and get married. Those are the things that are going to destroy humanity in the end. If you have women marrying women and men marrying women, somebody is brainwashing the world into extinction. The Creator made human beings just like any other animal to procreate. A man and a man cannot have a child. A woman and well, you can adopt, but these things go against the laws of creation. I feel, and I know that all this thing about homosexuals and say you're homophobic and they label you with all kind of names. Well, you can label me what the hell you want to label me. You understand? If I feel something is wrong, and this is where I feel the church is lacking. The church is quite silent. now even homosexuals.
When you said
are
the
in
church is quite silent,
a lot of the
what are you-
churches.
what
I
are
was
you
speaking to
expecting?
I was speaking to one of my aunts, and she said her pastor, he's very adamant, and he doesn't agree with same-sex marriage and homosexuality and so forth. But how many churches you hear speaking? The pastors are always telling you about how much money you must put in the collection plate, how much this God said that you need to be rich, and they don't say
But Quinn,
about
which
the
church
things
in our
that.
island do you know that has condoned and completed?
Well, silence to me is just as well as condoning. You understand? If you're
No,
silent,
because I'm trying to figure out which church has
Yeah.
gone through with same-sex marriage
Yeah.
or which church, because
yeah.
I
so-
don't know of any churches that does that here on St. Kitts.
But they're quiet.
Why would
I
you
know
say-
Quinn,
Why do you
I'm
say
happy
they're
you brought
quiet?
that point up, Quinn.
Huh?
Why do you
I'm
say?
happy you brought that point up because guess what?
I don't think they're quiet about
Recently,
it.
Our leaders went to Parliament and they lift up that book of law off
Yeah,
the books.
yes.
And then I heard that they had at least one same-sex marriage and forget they. And our leaders did that, and they know we are a Christian society. They did
No, we're
that
not.
without even consulting the people. And like you just said, the Christian community stayed quiet.
Again, we are not a Christian
That
society.
is one.
We are
That is one of the
hypocritical
only
people,
laws.
wicked
When we're
people.
talking about changes in our laws, that was definitely one law.
But you see,
that they-
Greg, we're not
that
a
was
Christian
definitely one law
society.
that they changed.
We are a bunch of evil people, yet God is still in control, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's punishing us for our evil and wickedness. Yes.
Yeah, great point,
Otherwise,
Greg.
if you don't believe in God, in that, I ask you again, what do you do with Romans chapter 11, verse 36? What do you do with Romans chapter 8, verse 28? And so many other scriptures that teaches God is in control of everything. He's working everything out for his glory, for his praise, and for his honor.
I can't
And
wait to
two,
see
he's
Jesus
working
so we
everything
could be
out for the good and blessings of all
done with all
of his
these
own.
arguments about him.
Yeah. Me, I this is what I feel. This is where I feel radio and talk radio, and everywhere you turn, everybody's talking, and everybody wants to talk about the same thing, and people are afraid to touch certain issues, and these are issues that need to be touched. There are issues that need to be spoken about. There are no issues that you should not confront. If those issues are going to be detrimental or negative in your society, face it. Even if you're going to get a backlash, at least let it go on record that you said nay. You said you did not agree with it.
You said people didn't speak up. People don't speak up about.
I said the church.
Okay. The church. We're gonna
And
use.
you're right, Quint. You're right.
But how is he
And not only
right?
that, but it is even worse, Quint. Quint, it is even worse than that, because I know of churches that have open homosexuals in high offices in the church.
Yeah, me too.
Open homosexual.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
But do you know for a fact that these people are? Are you in the same domain?
They're not open about it.
They're not hiding it.
They're telling you they are. They're not hiding. They're telling you they are.
Leave the
I know.
judging
I
to
could call
Jesus.
them, but I ain't going to do that.
I
I'm not
know.
going to do it, but I could call names.
Yeah. Don't call any names.
Don't do that on this one, on this radio station,
Greg,
please.
Greg, that is where you will go overboard. You don't call names.
No, that's what I said. I ain't going to call names.
Yes.
But I could name names of people who would tell you plainly and who says plain that they are homosexual and they are high up in the churches, in
Yeah.
certain churches.
I know that as a fact. Okay, so where?
My dominion, I don't think I have to worry
So
about that. Or my
Burl,
denomination,
make
I don't have to worry about that.
Burl and Greg, make your final points. Burl, go
Yes.
first. Go ahead, Burl.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah.
first.
Thanks, man. Great discussion, man. It seems like you're all trying to turn me into a religious fan instead of a political man this morning, but it's good to hear this type of discussion, man. And I'm hoping a lot of people is listening. You know, our values that was placed on us as kids growing up, especially, we need to take that into our adulthood, and we've got to be mindful that we have a nation to build, and the children are watching us, and we are their examples.
Yes.
And, you know, I just wish the people of the Federation all the best going forward, man, and big up to the women again.
Yes. Okay. Take care. Greg, make your
Well,
point.
Yeah. Well, Quint, first of all, I would like to say, well, yesterday, Miss Henry, in her disagreement with me, she quoted a scripture that backs up what I said and condemn what she said. She said, Jesus said he died for many, which is true. But there's a difference between Jesus saying he died for many in this world and him saying
Greg,
he died for everybody in this world.
Greg,
Hello?
Greg, I hear you, but leave that one alone.
Yes,
I want you to
so
just,
that
I
point
just want you
that
to
point
wrap
is
up.
finished.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, that point. So come back to what we're discussing right now.
And be
Now,
brief, be brief.
Yes, yeah. Come back to discussing what we are discussing right now is that feminism today is destroying society. Women, you are to be in submission to your husband. Government.
It has been proven that when women are in charge, societies are led better. Because we have a knack for leadership as well. I'm not saying we don't listen to the gentlemen and we don't work in accordance with them, but you can't say that, man, Greg. No, man.
The Bible forbids
Well,
you all.
Greg knows
Greg
knows I disagree with him on that. Greg, we have Greg, we have another caller, so I'm gonna hang you up for now, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Hello, caller. Go ahead.
Good morning, Brother Greg.
Yes, make your point. We have about 2 more minutes. We have another program coming up. Yes.
Yes, I am very interested in this topic that's being spoken about, and I'm going to declare my decree. Homosexual, man to man, woman to woman, is an abomination that's gone to condemnation. Okay? God didn't make us that way. He made a man for a woman. And I stand on my ground. So anyone who condones that kind of practice that's been there before us, well, let them, may God blast them to hell.
Caller, I'm gonna say this. We live in a democracy. I'm not saying if you're homosexual that you don't have a right to live your life how you want, right? But I also have a right to say I disagree with your life. You live your life, I don't have a problem with it. But I as an individual have a right to say I don't agree with your life. That doesn't mean I'm going to try to kill you or anything like that, but I have a right to say I don't agree with your life. That is what democracy is. It seems to me that the gay community seems to live in a world where they only have the opinion. They can say what they want, do what they want, act as they want, and we don't have a right to say, well, yeah, it's your life, live it, but I don't agree with it. Whenever we say we don't agree with it, we can't get jobs, we can't get this, we can't get that. They try to boycott this and boycott that, but it's our freedom of expression, just like they have their own rights and freedoms. So I'm not going to get on any radio and try to be nice and whatever. Live your life.
Let me finish.
Go ahead.
Let me finish because maybe you will align with me. But you didn't let me finish my statement. You
Go ahead.
interject.
Go ahead.
Let me
Yeah.
just say this. Everyone chooses to live the life they need to live. Everyone have their choice of what they are going to do in life. Their life is their life. It comes from the Almighty. Remember, He gave us a free will, a free mind to make up our mind. I'm not going to intrude upon you to tell you how to live your life because you're not going to intrude upon me to how to live my life. That's your choice. So, because that's not my practice, because that's not my my agreement, alignment, I am free to say what I need and live the way how I need. Like I said, you should have just let me finish my statement.
Yeah, I wanted to make that clear. So, but
we're gonna have to wrap up soon because we have a next segment. So can we bring the point home,
Yes,
please?
Yes.
I yield. I came in at the last moment.
Okay,
Thank you.
cool.
Thank you for your contribution.
Bye for now.
Let's take that commercial break, and when we get back on the other side, we'll have another individual here on another program.
The Sound 98.9.
Yeah.
Let's stop child sexual abuse. The
my
age of
Yeah.
consent is 16,
God,
yet
my
our
God,
15,
help her.
14, 13, 12,
What are you
11,
trying?
and 10-year-olds
You're
are becoming
stressing me out
victims
being
of sexual abuse and exploitation, which is being forced into sexual activity before they are old enough to decide. This causes mental, emotional, and physical harm to our children. Parents, it is your responsibility to protect and to educate your children. Develop a relationship of trust with your child. If they trust you, they will tell you. Child sexual abuse cannot be our norm. We must work together to correct this. Help us prevent, help us protect, help us prosecute. A message by the Department of Probation and Child Protection Services. Contact us at 467-1311 or 662-6833 for more information.
Save your quarters and save your dollars. You could protect.
Parents and guardians, it's time to secure your child's success. Enroll them in Aspire and unlock amazing benefits. $500 in cash savings, $500 in investment shares, and life-changing financial education to teach budgeting, saving, and investing. Don't wait. Sign up your child or ward for Aspire today and give them the tools to achieve greatness. Visit aspire.gov.kn for more information.
It's the start of the week. It's time for a new perspective. It's time for Unfiltered. Join Azar Gums, lawyer and deputy leader of the People's Action Movement, for raw and unfiltered political analysis of the current events in St. Kitts and Nevis. Tune in every Sunday evening from 7:30 p.m. on Win FM. Join Azar Gums as he breaks the mantle and cuts through the unfiltered political noise to bring you the facts. Unfiltered every Sunday evening on Win FM 98.9.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea, only on Win Media 98.9.
And we are back on Island Tea, and in studio with us we have Mr. Troy Douglas.
Flanders, my dear.
Lord Jesus, why did I change your name?
Well, my grandmother is Douglas, but not me.
I humbly apologize. Listen, I shouldn't get this wrong. Mr. Troy Flanders, you see, if your brother was here, I wouldn't make that mistake, you know?
Okay.
Whoa.
Don't blame me.
As we bring you this morning's farm report. Yeah, so good morning, Troy, and welcome back.
Yeah, good morning to all the listeners out there, the super listeners of Farm Report. We are back, and it's nice to be in the studio once again. I just would like to start off by saying thanks to all the patrons who supporting the farming community. I just would like to say thank you, a big thank you to them. I know we just come off the Easter celebrations, and you could have seen the farmers were busy because Easter is a good time for the farmers. Yes, so
that's reaping time.
Yes,
okay,
yes. So they're busy.
And it's ground provision time too.
Ground provision, and you get the peppers, you get almost everything. So
yeah,
it should have been a good time for the farming community. So I just would like to say thanks to all who went out and patronized the farmers, and keep on buying local.
Yeah,
because that's the only way the farming community will grow, and we have to also think about food safety and food security.
Yeah.
So by helping the farmer, we're actually helping ourselves, But then again, I would like to also make an appeal to the supermarkets to do a little bit more, a lot more, to support the farming community. One guy met me and he said to me, Mr. Farmer, I purchased some peppers from you, and I have them on my table for 2 weeks, and they are still firm. I say, yes. He say, you see, but when you get those imported peppers, they can last a week, you know?
I tell you that all the time.
Yes, so.
I do my comparison.
Yeah, so it's good. It's good that he did purchase peppers for me, and I think we have quite a bit of peppers at the department also available. So
all colors or just one specific colors?
It is green peppers.
Oh, green.
Yeah,
okay,
but
good.
because sales so slow, I think some of them might turn red. They might be mixed. You might see color, the green pepper turning because you know that's where they start.
Yeah.
You see
green.
red peppers, they start green. All the peppers start green.
Yeah, we normally see them when they
So
try.
let me ask you something. I'm glad you said that. So is there still a way that you know a seed will bring you specifically a yellow pepper, or a seed will bring you a red pepper?
Yeah, they had red, but they start green. But you got peppers that when they are fully
sure they're gonna turn red.
they turn yellow, they turn red, they have orange, and they also have brown.
Yeah. So what I'm
I
asking,
see the brown and the red
and the
green.
purple.
Yeah.
So what I'm asking, can you as a farmer say, you know what, this year I'm gonna plant a whole bunch of yellow peppers?
Yes, because they have the seeds for the yellow peppers.
That is. What
and they have for the just like the purple and the other colors. They have the seeds for that.
Okay, cool.
And the next thing I see flourishing right now is sweet potato.
And that's good.
Yes, sweet potato is out there right now. So all those sweet potatoes that come from foreign, I encourage people to shun them.
Yeah.
And buy local.
Have you ever eaten sweet potato salad? Like you know when you make Irish potato salad.
Yeah, I eat it
what I do is I might dice some Irish potatoes and dice some sweet potatoes, boil them till they're firm enough, mix them together, and then you have Irish potato and sweet potato salad.
But with the excess of sweet potatoes, Troy, that we may not get sell, what happens to them? Can we turn them into chips?
Speak a little louder.
What can we do?
Yeah.
I can't really speak for the food processors.
Okay.
I'm not in the position to speak for them, but that's a business opportunity for somebody else. Yeah, because they have a lot. I mean, when I go in the field and harvest, you see a lot of small ones leave back and so, and you know when sweet potato flourishing, people get picky. They don't really want the small ones them know. So they call them pickings. Yeah. But when they are scarce, they are potatoes.
Yes, of course.
It's weird. It's weird because it depends. They don't want the small ones. You're right, but they also don't want them too big.
Too big,
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
But most people prefer the small ones when they cook in soup.
Yes.
They call them soup potatoes, right? But after potato get flourishing, people start to get picky. And they say, they want no picking. But it's still good. We are out there doing our best. The consortium soon launch their website. They're working on it. It's a working thing. Because most people not hearing us, we are working behind the scene. So that's where we're at right now.
Have the farming community ever thought about when you have excess picking, or you reap yams and so forth, and you have a lot of roots and so forth? Have anyone ever thought about processing them in a way so that they can be dried out, so that they can be pig food, or
Yeah, that, as I said, that's something for the processors. I think farmers as is have the handful.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right.
The craft of farming ain't no easy thing.
Yeah, you're right.
You grow sometimes even to market is a challenge.
Yeah, well, you're right, because I don't feel that a farmer, after having work, should still have to market.
Yeah, it's a challenge also.
It's a big challenge.
Yeah, but farmers are resilient people, so we always find a way to get things done and move on. So I think now you throw it out, somebody might just say, that's a good idea, and start to do the
processing.
They should.
Because pig food is very expensive, But when you buy
you're promoting pig heavy, man.
No, I don't eat pig, but I know that a lot of people rear pigs.
Yeah, because what I say, the cost of pork, most of it is in the feed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know
Like
Yeah, that is
almost
why I said
90%,
it.
almost
Yeah.
feed. A good, a large percentage.
Yeah.
Is in
Yeah,
feed.
is in the feed.
I learned something yesterday.
Yeah. it's a small margin for profit, you know, when you come on pig and so.
But I grew up knowing, people leave their buckets by various houses and you throw in the scraps. I thought that was it. I didn't know it takes so much to feed a.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you think about it, if you got one little piggy and you just get the scraps and so, it'll take you about 6, 7, maybe 8, 9 months before you carry to slaughter.
Yeah.
But if you look at the amount of time and the thing you put into that, by the time
During
you
that
slaughter that,
period.
you make nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real. It ate you down more than.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Hello, we have a caller. Hello, caller.
Good morning.
Good day.
Troy, Cortez here.
Good morning.
Quint, yeah.
Yeah, good day.
Morning. Actually, I was forced to go onto your Facebook media platform this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because for some reason some of the others not working.
Okay, I think we tried. Greg gave us a head up, and I think we have rectified that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Greg.
But it was good. It was good that that I did.
Yeah.
Hortensia, you should try to go into acting. Your reactions are priceless. I was able to see your reactions to some of the comments. I mean, they were really priceless. Yeah. The suggestion of preservation, I think, should be explored further in agriculture, because just like, for instance, a lot of people prefer, if they buy fish already cleaned, right? Some of us don't like to clean fish.
Yeah.
Right? The same can be said for a lot of other products.
Yeah.
I don't like. I like green bananas, but I don't like to peel them. I find it messy.
Neither me.
Right. Right.
That's
and breadfruit is the same thing.
Same thing. Sticky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm thinking that these produce would sell better if they are sold in a semi-prepared way. Okay, I don't know what would be involved there, and yes, there may be things like health issues and packaging and that sort of thing. Okay, but I think that would be a good thing for the consortium to explore. Selling these, just like even nuts, right? I mean, we like to eat nuts. Actually, some people enjoy shelling and eating.
Yeah.
I just like the nuts. And so if it's packaged already, rather than having to shell them, packaged already, just ready to eat, I think, again, the sales would increase.
But,
so,
Mr. McMahon, I agree with what you're saying, but someone might say who's selling nuts, if you shell those nuts, you know how much it's going to take to fill a bag? It's going to take a lot of nuts.
But then you have differential prices in terms of the shelled and the unshelled.
I agree.
Obviously,
with
you have to pay for the convenience.
I agree with you, but you understand what I'm saying, because when they
I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand that, but like I said, some people don't mind paying a few cents for.
Yeah, you're right.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know if that's part of the consortium's efforts to deal more in preservation of stuff and preparation, semi-preparation of stuff.
Well, what the farmer
to make it easy for the consumer.
What the farmer said, and he's going to speak on it also. He said that, and I agree with him, that the farmer has a lot of work to do, so he leaves that to the processors. Farmer.
Well, the consortium is also food processors, also part of the consortium.
Okay.
Right.
Yes, so.
Yeah, well, you expand the offerings then.
As you keep throwing out the ideas, if they are listening, they should be the one with the notepad and taking notes.
Yes.
Right? And I glad that you come up with that, because there are so much job opportunities in agriculture that I don't think that the powers that we realize that agriculture ain't just putting a seed in the ground.
No.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's true. But I've noticed something too. Well, I don't know if it's just my perception, but there seem to be a lot more items and both in terms of quantity and quality being displayed now. Right? I don't know if it's my perception or it's the time of the year or so, but it seems as if agricultural production is increasing.
Is it
just from my? Is that correct to say? Is
yes,
it your perception as well?
because of the time of the year, as Quint rightly said, you find that certain ground provisions are coming in and so on. At this point in time, yam going out, potato normally run until maybe up to May, June.
When you say potato, you mean the sweet one?
Sweet potato.
Okay.
We don't plant white
Irish?
potato anymore.
Okay.
I don't know
but is there why would there be a particular season for something like potato though?
I don't know. We've been having some challenges with sweet potato. Normally it's from October right down to maybe June. Used to be in our planting space, but now it kind of dwindled a little.
Doesn't weather have something to do
I
with
want to believe the heat
have
something to do with it.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize they were that sensitive to, the
well,
weather.
not that they're that sensitive, but we have these long periods of drought.
And you realize that October, which normally be a little chilly, was rather warm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what
all right.
happened.
Yeah.
Mr. Mahan, before you go, maybe you could give the nation a little update on the 25 by 25?
No, you're being sarcastic, huh?
Mr. Mark Mahan,
my understanding is that the 25 by 25 thing was, and well, it was something to aspire to, but in actual fact, it was more like 30, 35 or something like that.
So
but you have to set goals. If you don't set goals, you don't know if you're making progress or not. So even if you don't meet your targets, at least hopefully you're on the way.
Well, Mr. McMahon, when he posed that question to you, I thought you were the authority on the 25 by 25.
I notice a lot of people do me that. Think that I'm an authority on all kinds of stuff. When I'm just a lemon, expressing my views.
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks for the call.
Thank you.
It is what it is. The 25 by 25. I will say this is where the media has failed the general public.
Yeah.
Right? And the farmers also, because there are farmers out there who are actually suffering because of the 25 by 25.
Yeah.
They lost money because of the 25 by 25. So these are things that is not good to say, well, you highlight it, but when you listen to the powers that be, it gives the general public a impression that all is well.
Yes.
When it is not.
When it is definite, but
So
if you're observant, you will realize it's not.
So was anything accomplished?
Well, I'm not in that position to say that something was accomplished, but what I could say is that the major goal that was set out, it was totally opposite.
Okay.
The import bill went up rather than come down.
Yeah, because we were supposed to reduce it by 25%.
Yes, so rather than reducing it, it actually went up. And that's why you're saying that some farmers was in they were placed in a position of, I must say, difficulty. Because you look at tomatoes. It was right here in this program we exposed that we had tomatoes that wasn't selling.
Yeah.
And at that point in time, it was the tomato season. But yet we were importing tomatoes.
You have a caller.
Okay, caller,
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Oh, fine. Me enjoying the farm thing. A lady asked me to advertise some. Can you For sale? The slips, eh?
Tanya slips.
Yes.
Okay.
She says she has more than what she could manage. So, anybody interested? So they're good quality, Tanya.
Location, number, anything?
The number is 764 4398. Got it?
764-4398.
Yes, she lives in Molyneux.
Okay.
So she wants to get rid of some of them.
Okay. Thanks.
But do you all usually plant Tanya's? No, my father used to plant Tanya head, Tanya foot.
Yeah, people do plant Tanya still. Tanya's still a big thing. And what month we in?
In the supermarket, no?
No, Tanya, I think normally, because Tanya is like 9 months or so. Yes, 8 to 9 months.
Child.
Yeah, 8 to 9 months.
Wow. We're in April, Troy. We're finishing
Right,
April.
so
yeah, so this is the
consultant might be interested in buying some.
that some people might have been planting. This is a good time to start planting Tanyas.
Okay.
Right, so don't forget.
Yeah.
764 4398.
And I will encourage people who on high elevation to plant Tanyas, because when you look at it, it's the root crops that will sell right now, you know. Yeah, the days of the peppers and the tomatoes dominating, I ain't see it happening right now.
Well, that's a good thing. I'm glad you said that, because for so long we were complaining that our native people were moving away from the ground provision.
What about watermelon? Watermelon scarce?
Not really, but it's coming back in. The season about to start. So
Because I've been trying to get some watermelon.
You need to go to the vendors on the agro strip. There are plenty out there. I passed plenty up to this morning.
Watermelon up there?
Yes. I live across from there.
Last Aya does get me. So Aya, please, to try and get me a watermelon.
As the place get warmer, you see more watermelon.
Somebody was saying that they're not sweet. I tell them, well,
yeah, because the weather at this point in time. But as it get warmer, you get nice sweet watermelon.
I just had a really sweet one the other day.
Yeah, you'll
from
find
this
that.
weather.
Yeah, you'll find
and it's local.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the farmer is right. When you have a lot of rain, they blow up big fast, and some of them tend to be watery. Yeah. So
but diabetic should be glad.
No, diabetic will use the sweet one also, you know.
Mr.
I
Farmer,
know what I mean. When they water, we could eat more.
But Mr. Farmer and Sylvine, I learned something recently that I didn't know. Someone divulged that the most nutritious part of the watermelon is that green part. Yeah. And not that red,
not the red part.
Sweet part. And I didn't know that.
That's why.
Oh, well, now you know. Yeah, man, I go up, we call mountain girl.
Yeah.
But he only know that because he says it's good for man.
Well.
But
they had something.
You got me
he has been experimenting. Anyway, belated birthday greetings to Azad. I heard somebody say yesterday was Azad birthday.
Okay.
Yeah, he listening. He got it, Miss Henry. He listening.
Yeah.
Oh, it Azad. We're planting, you know. What about tiny foot? You know, we still got these long things that they shoot up on the tiny head.
When you come on the Tanya, we send me even the bush, anything, all over the Tanya could eat, you know.
All right, then, as I'm listening, so she's listening.
We don't really utilize the Tanya as we should.
Yeah, because, is it the Barbadians, some Trinidadians, I think, they use the Tanya, they use everything. And I understand the Chinese, they use the roots from a lot of our ground provisions. When we pull up the roots and throw them away, they clean them up and make soup, and it's very, very expensive and in demand in China.
Yeah, the Chinese eat everything, eh?
Yes, it's another man's
one man's garbage.
Is another man's treasure.
Yeah.
I think we're not really utilizing the produce how we should.
Yeah.
I mean, look at it. We had sugar cane, and we do with the sugar cane. We use the molasses and the but they had the bagasse and all that thing.
Yes,
I think we could have actually utilized much better.
You're right.
So that's how we do. We not, as we was talking about agro processing, so we need to
we didn't have the foresight.
Deeper,
into things.
Because the point you made that all of this is farming, the byproducts of of what is produced.
So much opportunities there in agriculture.
Yeah.
I just wish that agriculture was
taken more seriously.
Yeah, when you think about in the schools,
yes,
and so right, I don't think it's
a big
deep enough in the school. Because you look around, you hardly see any school farms and so going on now.
Yeah.
And you got to start to teach the youth that the soil ain't something you're supposed to run away from.
Yeah.
I guess the stigma from the years with agriculture, agriculture was related to
slavery and colonialism.
And them guys who slow, pick up in a school.
Yeah, you're right.
So,
you're right. Yeah.
So I think, I mean, if anybody child come home and say, "Mommy, I want to be a farmer," you're gonna say, "Bye, go back." So.
But that's because
that's true.
But that is because, as you say, it's not taken seriously enough. Agriculture is a science,
Yeah. It is.
It's a science. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's why it's called agriculture science, because you had a choice. And I think when you started in junior high, it was a mandatory subject, and then you decided whether you want to do that or integrate it.
Yeah.
Science.
But I think because of what's going on in the world today,
everybody wants to be
agriculture should be on the front.
I agree. Yeah. I agree.
It should be a part of our economic development. That should be one of the main pillar of economic growth in this country.
Because as you suggest, with the threat of war and global warming and all that, and tariffs to stop food from coming, you never know when you have to be dependent on yourself, on your own ability to produce food. So yes, Mr. Troy.
Yes,
I agree.
Yes. We need to do that and encourage.
Let me ask you this: Are you family to Ike?
I get that every day. I don't know. Ike is a Flanders. I'm a Flanders.
He's a Flanders.
Huh?
I know he's.
Yeah, he's a Flanders. I'm a Flanders.
That just might be.
I ain't gonna say no, but my Flanders come from Nevis.
And the reason I asked that is because years ago when I was managing a radio station, he was sent to me, Ike, and I'm the one who trained him in radio. So that's why when I hear Flanders, his name bumps up.
Oh yeah, man. But I think I older than Ike, so I was there before Ike.
Oh boy.
Yeah, how are you doing with your time?
Yeah, we've got about 2 more minutes.
Okay. Well, as we're about to wrap up, I continue to advocate on behalf of the farming community.
Yeah.
We demand, it reached a point now that we demand we can stamp up your mechanized. We need a seat at the table of decision making.
Yes.
Because our interest is not served at this moment. You see? When I look at last time I was here, in wrapping up, I was speaking about the Tabasco project, which most persons only got to understand what it's all about.
Yeah.
Much less the farming community. You're going to do an agriculture-related project, and you haven't spoke to not even a half of a farmer.
Yeah.
Much as a farmer.
Imagine that.
And that is totally disrespectful. And that's why we as farmers, we got to, the farming community, let us stick together because our interest is what we got to protect.
Yeah.
We have to protect our interests. And the consortium is here still. We're still seeking membership. Anybody interested in joining the consortium, we are open. You don't have to be a farmer to join the consortium. You could be like Miss Henry, somebody who just enjoyed hearing about farming, them sympathetic towards farmers, just anybody who is enthusiastic about farming. You could join the consortium. We are open to everybody. We have membership from professionals, are members of the consortium, lawyers and people who are doctors, and so they are members of the consortium also. So we are open to everybody. You know.
And that's how it should be. That's why I don't think farming should ever get political, because it's about feeding our people. So it doesn't matter who's in, we should all work together for the benefit of that one good, ensuring that we have food.
Well, if you look at the United States of America, we might be taking our farmers for granted, but in America, the farmers have a say. They do have a say.
Not right now, though. You ain't see what happening to them?
Yeah. No, they get knocked out. They get knocked out, but
it baffles me. Even in the great USA, agriculture is a fight down too. How?
Yes, they get.
Look at China. How many resource sectors does China have? Agriculture too, and they're tearing up the charts. Anything should happen, then people go over there, you know.
But China setting up themselves because they see that.
But they have set up themselves long time.
You
they're
have
now
to
doing it because
when you're talking about national security, you must use food security. If you can't feed yourself, how could you defend yourself?
Exactly.
You got to be able to feed yourself. So it's part of China national security.
Because when I hear President Obama, President Biden had all these things in place for these agriculture people, and then they go vote out people, and you want people that are going to go for them, and now they're fighting because it doesn't make sense no more. The farmers, and I'm like, why are we fighting against people that have to feed our people?
But then again, the government, when you see the dust settle, they will pump a lot of money into the farmers. All the money that you see farmers losing now, they're going to get them back something.
When?
Huh?
When it's too late?
Remember, America have election every 2 years,
No, but I don't understand. Why do we fight this thing that feeds us? Why? What is the big deal?
Well, people always vote against their own interests. That's a norm. That's a norm.
That's a norm.
So that's something.
I swear all the other islands can say the same thing.
You have a caller. This will be the final caller. And again, let me apologize for being in and out. It has been a very busy morning for me. Go ahead, caller.
Yes, I just want to ask a question. The gentleman spoke about becoming a member of the consortium. So how do you become a member of the consortium? Okay.
Yeah. You could just register, sign, pay a little fee. I think it's $20 or $25, and you could become a member.
And how do you? I am a farmer, but some years ago, you know, when you go and you get that farmer's ID?
Yeah.
Some years ago there was a problem because us farmers, I'm sure you might be aware of that, couldn't get IDs.
Still a problem.
Wow, I can't believe that. Because I couldn't get an ID, and every time I go was some kind. So I was wondering, I thought that is what I was going to ask you, if there was a way to get your ID more expeditiously.
Well, like in the government hand, I didn't think the consortium ever thought about speeding up the process, because it is what it is when it comes on the government system.
But that is where Greg is right. You know, a lot of things when government's hand in it, it's just messed up. Would you believe that after all this time, this was happening during the time of Team Unity? It was happening, you know, and it's still happening.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. So how does a farmer get his ID or her
Well,
ID?
I don't know, because I applied for ID for quite a while, and I do some checks and I didn't get it, and I just give up. I mean, maybe they have it there waiting for me. I don't know, but after months and
This is to the Minister of Agriculture. This is gross incompetence. I'm going to be harsh. Since in the Unity era, I'm a farmer. Maybe not as big as farmer as Troy, but I couldn't get an ID, a farmer's ID. And you want to tell me after all this time you still can't get a farmer still have problems?
When agriculture is placed as the pillar, one of the major pillar of economic growth, that is when they start to take things like that seriously. Agriculture for government, I tell you, we was told that it is cheaper to import than to grow food.
If you can't get a farmer's ID, how can you represent yourself as a farmer? I know the ID was important because when you got your produce and you wanted to sell it, people wanted to see your ID to know that you're a legitimate farmer.
Yeah.
So you want to tell me the Ministry of Agriculture is retarding that, handicapping that for so long?
I don't know if you're improving or to be honest with you, but I know
But you're a farmer and part of a consortium.
Yeah, so that's what I tell you. I was frustrated to the point that I had quit going to get me ID. I don't know.
That is what had happened to me. That is what had happened to me. But that's a good while. But that's a good while ago. So
I don't know if it's improved, but I'm talking about not so long ago. Maybe 4-6 months ago.
I mean, come on, man.
So I don't know. I don't know if within that space of time the system improved. I don't know. I can't speak on that, but I know I had that experience.
Yeah, I had it too. So we're in the same boat.
Thanks again for having me. And looking forward to bring another farm report and another Wednesday. Thanks.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Thanks as
Take
usual.
care.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
Do you want to know what's happening in sport? Tune in to On the Ball, a weekly tour show which is on Win FM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Biff Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On the Ball with Troy Biff Mills on Win FM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball.
You ever hear Earthquake call and say, "Hello, Miss Lee, yes, it's me, Earthquake, I coming Tuesday around 10? No, sir. Earthquake does arrive unannounced, and when it come, it shake all sense and sensibility out of we. Remain calm, stay inside, and do the DCH. Drop, cover, hold on. Once the shaking starts, you know it's earthquake. Make a quick move to a safe place. Don't run to the door, we are in the exit. Stairs might block up or full of people. Elevator, avoid that because you might get in and poof, power gone, and you're stuck in that box without ear. Take cover under a strong table or a bed, or crouch against an inside wall or in a corner, and cover your face and your head with your arms. Remember, DCH, drop, cover, hold on. Glass windows and doors, outside walls and doors in an earthquake, bad news. Take care yourself. Most injuries during earthquakes happen when something drop and hit people entering or exiting a building. Last thing, nobody run outside and ask, you feel it, you feel it? Remain calm, stay indoors until all the shaking stop, and do the DCH, drop, cover, hold on.
This message is sponsored by the Australian Government, AusAid, and produced by NEMA in collaboration with Win FM.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea only on Win Media 98.9.
And I was looking at an article with the incumbent party in, the winners, in a music record, the winners, Mrs. Kamala Prasad Basasir, and it says, this article is from The Guardian, and it reads as follows. I'm just going to pick out some parts. It says, the victory marks a remarkable comeback for Prasad Basasir, 73, who previously served as Prime Minister from 2010 to 2015, and remains the only woman to ever have led the country. In her victory speech to crowds of cheering supporters late on Monday, Prasad Basasir pledged to deliver on election promises. She said, and quote, "This victory is for the senior citizens to keep their pensions. This victory is for public servants to get their rightful salary increases. This victory is to reopen the Children's Hospital. This victory is to once again give laptops to our children. This victory is to create over 50,000 jobs. And so, the victory is yours." Prasad Basasir, a distinguished attorney, became the first woman to lead the UNC in 2010. The UNC faced internal upheaval, high-profile resignations, and a series of electoral defeats. But Prasad Basasir's leadership has helped the party reestablish itself as a credible force, particularly among voters seeking change. Her speech came minutes after the PNM conceded defeat. Former Prime Minister and PNM party leader Keith Rowley said, and quote as well, "Tonight is not a good night for PNM, but it might be a good night for Trinidad. Things have gone very well with the processes. The results are coming in now, and from what we have coming in, it is clear at this time that we have lost the election," end quote. Outgoing Prime Minister Stuart Young added, "The electorate has spoken tonight, and we look forward to tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, you will see a strong PNM back on the road, back servicing the population of Trinidad and Tobago." The Tobago People's Party also enjoyed unprecedented success, ousting at least one of the PNM incumbents in Tobago. According to preliminary figures, for the first time since Jack Warner's independent Liberal Party won Chaguanas West in 2013, the country will now have 3 political parties represented in the House of Representatives. The snap election triggered after Rowley's unprecedented resignation and the appointment of Young as Prime Minister came amid a surge of cost of living, Trump's trade wars, and soaring crime rates. And I want to get to the bottom of this because listen to this part. It says, the closeness between PM Young and Venezuela's Maduro's regime will be on the Trump administration's radar. Should the PNM win the election, Ghani said, it is quite possible that there might be a different response from the Trump administration should the UNC win the election, given the favorable disposition of Kamala Prasad, Besisir, towards Trump, he added. Caller, go ahead. You're live on LNT.
Yes, good morning. Yeah, what you just read confirms, I think, the apprehension about Kamala Prasad. She is a known quantity in the sense that she's been Prime Minister before.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And honestly, I wasn't impressed.
I wasn't either.
Yeah.
You mean you weren't impressed with her last term of leadership?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, because and the Caribbean generally should be kind of wary of her in the sense that I remember she took some actions in her first term which was detrimental, I think, to regionalism. I remember her making some outrageous comments like Trinidad is not the ATM for the region. She tore up the agreement that the leaders had made concerning the Bico-Clico debacle.
Yeah.
There was, right, you remember that?
Yes.
They had come to some kind of agreement on that, and she basically tore that up. I think she had something to do with the oil concessions that Trinidad used to give as well, withdrawing that or something like that.
Yeah.
But generally, I'm quite apprehensive about her victory.
And also she is accused of taking the country down racial lines.
And that's always dangerous.
Yeah.
In a country, in a multiracial country.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I understand that she also, in her campaign, I guess to appear tough.
Me empty the clip?
Said, huh?
Empty the clip on them when they come into your place?
Yeah. Oh, you know about it, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
It's all around for all of us to hear. She said once they come into your place, empty the clip on them. And I think that's why a lot of people vote on her. Vote for her because she's going to make... Maybe she's going to make...
But Mr.
Mr.
McMahon, do you have I mean, it may sound harsh and people may deem, but premise by the statement when they come into your place.
Into your place, not shoot them down on the road.
Yeah. So you still have a problem with
you
it?
can say, sometimes it's not what you say.
It's how you say
it's also how you say it.
Okay.
Okay. You can tell people you have a right to self-defense and protection of your space, your property.
But not empty the clip.
You know that sounds like a gangster. You know,
it does.
Yeah, you know. So I don't think with Trinidad in this situation it is with crime.
Yes.
I don't think that was the correct way to.
So what should she have just said? She's gonna make it easier for you to get a private weapon to defend yourself, and just not say empty the clip.
If that's a policy that she would advocate, sure. Say it like that.
But that sounds too fancy. She wants to get to the people, so she said what she said because that's gonna resonate better.
Yeah, well,
I'm not
yes,
condoning what she said, but
but
it's gonna resonate better with the people.
And
when you're in leadership,
yes.
when you're in leadership,
I
you
guess.
should be very careful
Of what you say. Yeah, I understand.
That is why I can agree with Mr. McMahon. We in the Caribbean need to move away from this excitement rhetoric.
Yes, exactly.
Because
right.
it rile up the crowd
We
rhetoric,
need-
Yeah.
Right.
But isn't that what we want to get the vote?
But that is what we're traditionally accused of, and it has not been to our benefit.
Exactly. Right. That's
When
that's
you said it
very
has no-
Trumpian.
That is one of the reasons. That is one of the reasons,
Listen.
Hortensia. That is one of the reasons why a lot of women hesitate to get into politics. Because they used to be bashed, and people would talk about bring up their past life, and
Everybody
everybody
they do
was,
that too.
Yeah,
and the
but
crowd was glad.
But Kamala seemed to be the other extreme. It's like she got something to prove, or there's a chip on her shoulder, or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's just as bad as women staying clear of politics because they don't like
The backlash and the
rhetoric. Right.
and, yeah.
So what do you think
so-
about her promises?
Like what?
She said 50,000 jobs for pensioners to keep their pension. The kids will get their laptops.
Like all politicians.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's still
now
left to be seen.
it's deliverance time.
And it's
you know?
quite strange that Hortensia would ask that, because Hortensia's favorite statement is "I'll believe it when I see it." Isn't that?
but strange enough,
But I want to know if you think she's gonna get it done, because
that contrast with I don't know if you heard Alan Chastanet's comment. He was on Patches. So I saw a video with a bit of the Patches show.
Yeah.
And he's now in opposition. You'd never believe that he was the Prime Minister of St. Lucia. I mean, he's saying like all the right things now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And actually, he made some extremely good suggestions. Right. Like for instance, he was saying that one of the things that's bedeviling our CBI is the competition among the countries.
Yes. That's
The
a fact.
OECS. When in fact they really should not be. It should be. As a matter of fact, he was suggesting that you have one overarching entity managing or regulating the CBI, maybe the central bank or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, and they decide on how the proceeds are divvied up, maybe per capita or whatever.
Yeah.
Rather than have us this, because we've always talked about this race to the bottom.
Yes. Yes.
That we've been having.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a very good suggestion.
Yeah.
And one of the other things suggestions he made, because someone asked why he was more in the forefront of integration when he was in government.
Yeah.
And basically he said, you don't have to give up your sovereignty. There's no reason, for instance, why you need 8 different ministers of education. You could have one minister of education. You're not giving up your sovereignty, okay? You still have your own separate prime ministers, etc. But there are avenues for more cooperation and more efficiency across the region.
Yeah.
You know? And he decried the fact that there's a total lack of transparency in the CBI programs across the region.
Yeah.
Even now, I mean, even
now,
here.
Yeah.
Even here where it is said that they made changes, etc., it is still a very, it's still not
Yeah,
transparent.
we the masses of the people are still ignorant
Exactly. That's what he's saying.
So
That's,
much.
that's
yeah.
what he said.
Yeah.
That's what he said. In opposition, he has all the correct answers. And when he gets into government, it's like a total. I don't know what
360.
Yeah.
Or they forget what they said. And I like the fact, that's why I tell people I could never go into government, because these people gonna find things that I didn't even know I did myself. And they're gonna bring it up.
But I mean, these are quotes from him. So people would have every right to throw it back in his face when if he ever gets back into power.
I just long for the day when all governments, all parties, let me say that, not all governments, all parties work together for the benefit of their country and stop just trying to be the top dog in the country, and just the ousted one becomes better
I don't know if you've heard
at belittling, and the in one forgot what they said they were going to do for the people.
Yeah,
I don't know if you heard Dwyer Astafan's commentary for this week. Yes.
No.
But he came up with a novel, almost novel kind of solution. It would take constitutional reform, of course, but basically he's saying that you have candidates vying for prime ministership, okay? And once the prime minister is elected, right, it's almost a presidency type situation where he then chooses his cabinet ministers. And that frees him up. That obviously frees up more people, more qualified people, more expert people would be able to, he can pick the experts, the true experts, so to speak, okay, to manage and run the affairs of the country.
But Mr. McMahon, why can't, as it stands right now, when we have an election and a party win, the party picks the leader, right?
Yeah.
The winning party. But when you, after having picked the leader then decides who is going to give the different portfolios, right?
Portfolios too.
So why can't it be done now? I mean, apart from the fact
the reason why the difference is
yes.
Okay, you are picking the leaders for the various ministries, the portfolios from who were elected.
Okay.
What he's saying is you know, the prime minister now has the option of choosing who you think is the best people to carry out the agenda.
So they don't have to come from the elected members.
Exactly.
Okay,
you still have the elected members, as I understand what he's saying.
Yes.
You still have the elected members, but they would be they would concentrate more on representing their constituents as opposed to running ministries.
Okay, I
because
hear
the two can conflict and the two.
Yes.
Right. Exactly.
Yes.
Okay. And so that's a good. I think one of the things I think we should really consider.
Yeah.
If we ever get around to constitutional reform.
Yeah.
I kind of like where that idea was going.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay then. Thanks for your interjection as usual.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's 9:54. Let me see here. Yeah. I understand what Mr. McMahon is saying now, because when the leader is picked presently as the situation stands, and he picked so and so, he has no concept or idea, of how to implement these things. So it sounds good. Yeah. So what do you think?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, and that's why I said I just think we should stop having parties and just have persons with great ideas understand that firstly there will be a leader.
Yeah.
And that I know everybody have ideas and they would want to see all their ideas into fruition.
Yeah.
But that leader must be somebody of wisdom that's going to pick the one that makes the most sense, the one that has the most. I just wish a lot. I just don't think it will work.
But I don't see any problem with wishing, because wishing is like hoping. It's like hoping that things change for the better.
Yeah, but it doesn't. It just disappoints us over and over
well,
again.
because our leaders aren't listening to the wishes and hopes of
The
the
electorate.
masses. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Everybody knows what to do when they're out of power.
Yeah.
But when they're in, that's never the case.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Because they now have the reins of power, and
They don't
some
have
of
to
the
do
some
it.
of the things that they were criticizing when they were out, they realize it's beneficial for them now that they're in, so they follow the status quo.
The Mali brothers have or I think it's Junior Gong himself. He says they say a lot to the politicians to trick us, and we bite all the time.
Yeah.
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 Because as you said, just like how she said, empty the clip and the people were noisy. Every time we heard the song "Get Rid of Them," it was a vibe.
And the father, he had some lyrics. I can't remember verbatim, but Bob Marley had a song that says, "How in my trying to remember, how long will they put us against each other whenever we're hungry and we want some food, and they get it work every time."
But the electorate is waking up because somebody had a video up on social media showing a young lady in a P&M shirt and a young lady in a UNC shirt hugging up and leaving together. And they're saying at the end of the day, we still have to survive, we still have to eat, we still have to get along with each other. And this is what we need to do, because when we go, I abuse you, Quint, because you's a red. You abuse me because I's a yellow. Somebody abuse somebody else because there's an orange. At the end of the day, these people are big friends.
Yeah.
And when we see the pictures, we're like, yes, they're
Hello,
friends.
caller. Hello, caller. Sorry for,
Hi, caller. Go ahead. You're live on Island T.
Yes. Host. Yes. Quinton Cartencia.
Yeah.
No. Since the time is running quickly, I'd like to say this quickly. Now, sometimes when we speak on issues, sometimes we don't mention every aspect of the issues, and it can lead to some severe misunderstanding. Now, let me say something, because some people might misunderstand what I've said. Even though I have said that the Bible forbids women from government, even though I've said that still can lead to some misunderstanding. The misunderstanding is this: worse and more unqualified than a mature, spiritually godly woman in government, worse than that and more unqualified than such, is what we have been having in the past and in the present. Ungodly men in government, and even spiritually immature Christian men, men who profess to be Christian in government. I mean, if I have to choose any day, the least of the worst of all of them would be having a spiritually mature woman in government.
Wow.
Because
bravo.
Because
hey, hooray.
Because Deborah was a leader in Israel.
Yes.
Even though she was assigned, I believe, Israel judgment under God. Even that, though that was the case, she was put there by God as an oasis in the middle of a desert of God's judgment on Israel. Okay? She was a measure of God's mercy and grace on Israel in the midst of his judgment on Israel. So let me say that so that, because, sometimes when you speak about a subject, you're so involved in one aspect of a subject, in talking about it, that it can lead to misunderstanding.
Yes.
Of where the person stand and the issue. Okay?
Yeah.
And that have happened to me many times, and I've had to come back and clarify something because the other aspects I did not address.
Well, that is one of the reasons, Greg, why whenever you speak, I might tell you point blank that I disagree. I might tell you it is nonsense, but I'm still going to listen to what you have to say, because that is what democracy is. And as I've often said, a lot of the times you make sense. It's not always you speak nonsense. Sometimes you speak... Sorry, Greg, I just had to dig you there.
No, no, apology, just that we disagree. Just that we disagree, but there's no apology for me. There might be apology for God, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Because when I speak in accordance with the Bible, I'm always correct. when I speak only when I speak in accordance with the Bible.
Yeah.
No, yeah. But secondly, we talk about these politicians fulfilling all of these promises. Like I always ask.
Wrap it up because we're a bit over time.
Yes,
I think we have some guests
Like
waiting.
I always say, somebody have to pay the financial bill to finance these expenses.
Yeah.
So everything government does is an expense. So therefore, I think, contrary to what a lot of people believe, a lot of these promises that these politicians do not fulfill I think is a blessing in disguise, because they was to fulfill all of them, they would bankrupt the country.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Take care. So we're gonna take a break because we're over a little over time.
You said take a break, or we're gonna end the program?
Yeah, end the program. Thanks for that. Thanks for that correction there. So you see where a woman has to lead sometimes. Okay.
You just want jam, Greg.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.